Ladies and gentlemen, get ready for an experience like no other. Tune in every Monday at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for The Mary D. Show, where the ordinary meets the extraordinary. The Mary D. Show brings you powerful insights and inspiring stories from a diverse range of guests. Join our incredible host, Mary D. Welch, as she sits down with thought leaders, business owners, and changemakers, sharing their journeys and successes. From career professionals and entrepreneurs to educators and beauty advisors, Mary D. Welch interviews sports figures and health enthusiasts, offering a platform for extraordinary voices. Explore the world of extraordinary people and places in business and finance, homes and real estate, beauty and wellness, education and empowerment, sports and health, and more. Want to be a guest on the show? Call 619-669-8603 or email marydwelch.com. Visit www.marydwelch.com to learn more.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Mary D. Show. For those of you that have never been here, hi there. For those of you that are just regular viewers, like, what do I call you guys? That you are, you're super. Anybody you come to every show, you support, you go on and watch the show and the replay. Well, you're super fans. Those are the super fans. If you're a super fan, hi, super fan. If you are, if you have never been here before, hi. If you've been here, just hi to everybody. I'd like to first also say hi to our executive producer. Hi, babe. Those of you know Oliver Welch is my husband. He's in the background. He is what keeps the program going, keeps me going. So I can tell you right now, we are here, ladies and gentlemen. Today, what can I tell you? Today is very, I say important. When I do one-on-ones, it could be for any reason. And I see we have, okay, Jazzy. Hi, Jazzy. I tell you, Jazzy's one of the super fans. Jazzy comes on. This is my beautiful niece. She hails from Atlanta, Georgia. Well, she's not in Atlanta, Georgia. She's in Georgia. Let me say that. And thank you, Jazzy. Hi, sweetheart. And she comes on. I tell you, Jazzy's here every week. She doesn't miss a show. But thank you. We're going to talk about something. I'm going to be honest with you, ladies and gentlemen. Really, who likes to talk about wills and trust? Nobody want to talk about that stuff. Nobody wants to talk about it, but everybody going to need it at some point in time, I tell you. This is what I've learned about this kind of thing. We may not want to talk about it, but the truth is, you look up, somebody passes, and they didn't take care of it, and all of a sudden, reality sets in. And what we tend to do is look around and go, I'll speak for me. Anytime somebody passes, it makes me look at my own life. That's what it does for me. It makes me go, what do I need to do and get it? What do I need to get in order? What do I need to? I just had the conversation just yesterday. I was talking to Oliver. I said, Oliver, we need to write our obituary. He didn't say nothing. I didn't say nothing. But I knew this is real stuff. Ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, this is real stuff. We don't like it. We don't like to talk about it. We don't want to think about it. We don't even want to think that one day we're not here. Do we want to think about that? Nope. We don't want to act like Simpson up here. I'm up under a fan, but I'm getting warm. We don't want to act like that that we're ever not going to be here. Let me say that. But what's the reality? That someday, ladies and gentlemen, this is not just some of us. This is all of us. Think about this. Even though we don't want to talk about it, even though we act like it's not good, we ignore it. Now, this is interesting. In some cultures, they prepare when the child is born. They prepare their life for when they die. At birth. At birth, they prepare them for when they will no longer be here. Think about that. At birth, they get everything ready. It's usually in a trust. Many of you know what a trust is, that it's all laid out. They already know, financially where they're going, where their education is going to be. Everything is all laid out. It's all planned for them. Now, whether they go that path is, they may and they may not. But the point is, there was a plan. There was a plan for their life. It was already laid out. Now, some of you, you may have plans. I don't know. You may have already planned everything out. So the things I'm going to talk about, you may say, you know what? I've done all that. I've talked to people who have done it all. And that's really, I've talked to people who, they already have their plot. They know where they're going to be buried. They know they've already written their obituary. They know who's going to be singing if that person's living at their funeral. They know who's going to preach their funeral. It's all written out. It's already done. I wish I could say I was that organized, but I'm not. But as I'm getting older, I'm getting there. The truth is I am getting there because this is real deal. This is the real stuff. So to act like it's not real, it's only hurting you and your family in the end. That's what it's doing. It's hurting you guys because, and I'll go over some things with you today. Things, some of you already know. I can tell you right now, you're going to be like, I already know all this. I already got all this done. This. I'm happy for you. But let me also say, it's over 50%. I think it's more like 60 to 65% do not. Think about what I'm saying. 60 to 65% have not. Not 50%. It's over that. And the reason I know it's over 50% is because in California, I can't speak for every state, by the way, but in California, they will let you write a will by hand, sign it, and you can present that in court. That's how I know it's out of hand because they're like, we'll take anything. Take anything if it's written down and signed by that person. And now they're going to have to prove that's your signature. Now they don't just accept it. They have to prove that that's your signature. That is called a holographic will. Holographic will. You may think, what, couldn't anybody sign it? No, they have to prove your signature. But you have your signature on so many things you don't even know you have your signature. They can find that. You go to the bank, you sign that. They got you have a signature card at the bank. They can get a copy of that. That has your signature on it. On your job, you signed. I know we did so much paperwork. You were signing your life away because you was getting ready to get a job. They have a copy of that. So there's ways to get copies of your signature. So don't think, oh, they'll, how are they going to figure out whose signature? They have ways. So don't worry. But my concern for you is that you don't have to have it come to that if you have everything in order. It won't come to that. So I just wanted to go over some things with you. And then actually I have to, they're doing the state of the school address for the school district. So even though we normally have an hour show, I am going to make this just a little bit shorter today because I do want to go to that. I started to do it to broadcast the show from there, but I didn't set it up and all those kind of things. I said, no, don't do that. Let me just go in and I'll do this today. And then we'll do part 2 next week. And I'll go in more in depth with everything. And I will spend an hour on the show next week. So just so you know. So this week is going to be just a little bit shorter, not much, but just a little bit shorter so I can go over some things with you. Now, if you already know all this, I'm clapping for you. I am. But most people don't. Most people don't. And then I'm going to give you this up front, right before we get started. First of all, I always say this. I am not a lawyer. Everybody got that? It's like, now, I did go to law school, but I didn't finish. But I went. And what I learned is so valuable. And it's so, I cannot tell you. I went for a year. So, but that's what our teacher told us. They said, our professor said, whenever you're talking about law, anything legal, make sure you start first with, I am not a lawyer. People have been sued for practicing law without a license. You won't be suing me, so I'm going to tell you, just so you know, I'm not a lawyer. I just know some information, but always seek the advice of an attorney. Always. Now, and I'm going to give you some information about that. There's called the Lawyer Referral Service. Most people don't know about that. And I'm going to have to start putting that back up on my emails again. The lawyer referral service, you get 1 hour with a board certified attorney, and you pay them. Like, I don't know what it is now. Years ago now, I think I paid $65. I don't know what it is now. Let's say it's $75. To be honest with you, let's say it's $100. Let's just be honest. Let's say $100. But you are going to, before you go, and I'm going to put the number up here for you. So those of you that want to use it, you have a chance to use it. The lawyer referral service, you get 1 hour. I will tell everybody, and I've used them for different things going on in our lives. And I will tell you why this is so important. You bring your questions to this lawyer. So you'll go, let's say you have a issue about your mortgage. Let's just go, I'll just use that. Then you're going to go to an attorney. That's what they do. That's their specialty. And you come with your questions. You write your questions down. Do not sit in front of anybody, especially someone that has that type of, professional background, without writing your questions down, because you're not going to remember them. It literally, you're going to get all emotional. I'm not saying you're going to get emotional, but I'm saying your mind is swimming with things. But if you write them down, now you don't have to worry about remembering them. Write your questions down. This is what I would do when I've gone before. I wrote the questions down and I left space for me to write the answer in. So they would tell me the answer. I said, just a minute, let me write this down. So you're answering my questions and let me get my answers to these questions. And they would. I had to use an attorney for intellectual property, an intellectual property attorney. There are intellectual property attorneys. I forget how many areas there are law. The numbers are staggering. Every single aspect of our society has law. I'll say that again. Every single aspect of our society has law. There's medical, educational, civic. It can be the city, the county, the federal. All of them have lawyers. Every last one. There is not one area. Think about what I'm saying. There's not one area that doesn't have law, that doesn't have lawyers represent them. Every single one. So I say you're in good company. We are a society of laws. That's what we really are, a society of laws. So just keep that in mind. So this is a number. I'm going to tell you what it is. This is the lawyer referral service. And also, this is for Riverside County. There are 58 counties in the state of California. 58 counties. Every single county has a lawyer referral service. I cannot speak for outside of California. I can only speak for inside of California because I live in California. I'm sure the other states have something like this or it's something similar. You can, if you call the Bar Association for the state you live in, they should be able to tell you who can help you. The Bar Association. We don't even know that all this is available, which is really kind of sad. I never knew. I forget. I didn't find this out in law school. I found this out somebody talking, I think. I remember, but it wasn't in law school. But when I found out, I was like, what? You can go talk to a lawyer for, at that time, I want to say it was $65 for the hour. But you had to pay right then. And they didn't take IOUs. You had to pay by credit card. It was a credit card, cash, cashier's check, money, or whatever. But it was right then. You couldn't just, say, well, I'll pay later. Nope. You had to pay before that. And then they start talking. But you only get 1 hour. And believe me, the hour goes by very quickly. It's a fast hour. So let me give you the number. This is Riverside County. I didn't think about looking up San Bernardino County, but anyway, this is Riverside. If you call Riverside, I'm pretty sure they can give you the other ones, give you another county. Riverside County is 951-682-7520. 951-682-7520. Say it again. This is the lawyer referral for Riverside County. 951-682-7520. Okay. Now, I want to make sure you have that before we even get going. Excuse me. I'm going to talk to you about, well, I say a lot of things, but this is about if you know what a trust is. Oh my goodness. A trust, let me say this. A trust is a powerful instrument. What a trust does is put a living trust, by the way. A living trust is going to put, for instance, if you own property, or that's one thing it's going to do, is put the property inside of a trust. If you have bank accounts, if you have what else? Stocks, whatever, so that whenever the person passes on, they will have already left who they want it to go to. Now, why is that so important? If you don't say who you want these things to go to, guess what? A judge is going to have to do it for you. Now, what has happened more times than not, when that happens, the judge will give it to people that you probably don't even want to have it. You have no control over it. So what you're doing when you have a trust, you have control over you've worked all your life to build whatever it is that you have. And if you don't tell and do it prior to your death, after your death, somebody else is going to decide, and who knows who's going to get it. And people have been in court for years fighting over stuff because the person didn't, well, I want to say that they didn't tell anybody what they not tell. You can't just tell people. It wasn't in writing. It wasn't in writing. It wasn't in a will. And let me say this. I definitely have to add this. And I learned a lot of the things I'm sharing with you, I had to learn. A will must be probated. Think about that. A will must be probated, meaning a will has to go to court. I didn't know that before. I thought that once you had a will, that was it. You just read the will, and that's no. A judge has to say that will is valid. And if somebody comes in that courtroom and says, I'm contesting it, now you're in court for another year. Or not a year. I don't know. It could be a year. It could be a year, actually. Because those court dates, who knows how long it'll be. But the point is, if you have a trust, it eliminates a lot of this stuff. It really does. Now, I would advise you go to an attorney and have an attorney do a trust. That's my advice to you. And I was telling you about the lawyer referral service. I'm sure there's a lawyer that will do a trust for you. I don't know what they charge. I have no idea. I can tell you this is, oh my gosh, 30 years ago, over 30 years ago. I'm just trying to think. When I had a trust 30 years ago, it was over $1,000. Now, I don't know what it is now. That was 30 years ago. But I have a feeling it's come down because of all of the legal things that you have now online, and you have so many different options. I think the cost of a trust has come down. The last I heard, a friend of mine had one, and it was $650. That's, they're paying almost half of what I paid. Oh, hello. How you doing, sweetheart? And so just know, is that Nanette? I think that's Nanette. Hi, Nanette. I can tell. You know what it is, Nanette? I see your icon. That's what I see. Hi, Nanette. I need to bring a book to you, Nanette. We got to talk about getting a book to you. So that's what I want to get. I wanted to go over with you. This is very important stuff. In actuality, it really is. But nobody wants to talk about this. But I'm going to talk about it. I'm not going to hit everything, but I can only stay for like another 15 minutes, and then I have to get going. Okay, so let's get going. I'm going to give you the lawyer referral service, the lawyer referral for Riverside County. If you need another county, call them. They probably can help you. 951-682-7520. 951-682-7520. That's the lawyer referral service number for Riverside County. Okay, now we're going to go over what is involved in a trust. These are some of the documents that are. And let me say this. This list may or may not be exhaustive, meaning there could be other papers too. That's why I want you to go see a lawyer, because this is very, I'm looking at this. Yeah, it's really a good start but it's not the end all be all by any means. I want you to know you can go, there's other papers you may or may not need. Okay, number one, a durable power of attorney. It lets someone manage your money and property if you're incapacitated. Let me say that again. A durable power of attorney lets someone manage your money and property if you're incapacitated. And I'm telling you these scenarios because these are ones. If I'm saying them, that's because I know the story behind it. There was a man. He was in the hospital. He was incapacitated. He had close to $200,000, and he still would not let anybody manage it. He was afraid they were going to steal it from him, and so he dies, and they have to go to court to get the I think it was his niece had to go to court to get the money. Because he was afraid if and it really he could have done it without them having to go to court. He could have, you can do this right now, by the way, on your bank account. You can have a beneficiary on your bank account for free, but that doesn't cost anything. You could just, and what they do, if you have a beneficiary on your bank account or your credit union account or anything like that, all they do is bring a copy of your death certificate, and then they get whatever's in the account. If it's $1 million, they get the $1 million. That's about it. It goes straight to them. They don't pay, though I'm not gonna say they don't pay taxes. I do not believe they do. I don't want to say that. And then somebody said, well, that lady said no. That's why I say get an attorney. I am not an attorney. You see, I smile when I say that. Okay. So number one, durable power of attorney. That gives people management over your finances. That's a big one. You have to really trust the person that's doing that. A healthcare proxy or medical power of attorney. Appoint someone to make medical decisions for you. It's a big one. So if you are, for instance, if you're incapacitated, somebody has to make decisions. Somebody has to say something. So, another one, or advanced healthcare directive. It's a living will. It states your wishes with life-sustaining treatment and the end of life care. Anybody, if you guys have heard of DNR, which is a do not resuscitate, if you hear that DNR, that means if that person codes, meaning their heart has stopped and they have what's called a DNR, do not resuscitate, they are not supposed to do anything. It's supposed to basically let you go. Is what they're saying. But you would have had to sign that, or your healthcare proxy, a medical power of attorney, or a durable proxy. Somebody has to sign that paper. They don't just do that. Somebody signs that long before that happens. Somebody has to sign, and that usually is in the hospital. Usually, you're in a hospital or in a nursing home, and you code. It's what it happens. Your heart stopped beat. And they say, but you have to have that on file. Before that, you can't wait till that time to have it on file because you're incapacitated. You have to have it on file. Say, if I code, let me go. Don't do life sustaining, beating on my chest and all. Don't do none of that. Get my heart beating again. No. Some people do that. Some people don't. Nobody can tell you what to do. I mean, who knows? I definitely can tell people what to do. I don't even know what I want to do yet. So I know I can't tell anybody else. But I would tell you, all of these things are necessary. I think definitely because me and my husband getting older, and it makes me more to realize we need to talk about all this stuff. Do you want to be resuscitated? Do you not want to be resuscitated? I need to tell him, how do I feel? All of these things, because if you don't know, you really don't know how people really think about these things. And this is very important to know this. Revocable living trust. You can hold assets to avoid probate and provide a smoother asset transition. So what did I say? That is one of the most powerful things you can have is a trust. Because you're avoiding court. Is what it amounts to. You don't have to go to court. You can go and change if it's a bank account. Well, you don't have to have a will or anything for this part. If you have a bank account and you wanted, let's say you have a niece, you want to go to your niece. All you have to do is put your niece down as a beneficiary with the bank. That's pretty much it. You don't have to see a lawyer for that. You don't have to do any of that. You're just saying that if anything happens to me, then whatever's in this account goes to my niece or nephew or whoever you want it to go to. But the point is, you need to let them know that, and they cannot get in the bank account until you pass away. Let me make sure I add that. They cannot get into your account. They can only do it when you are no longer here. So that I need to make that very clear. They cannot touch your money or funds. They cannot do anything. They can't transfer anything. They are only there as a beneficiary. In the event of your passing, they will receive whatever the funds in there. I was the beneficiary of my mother's account. What happened then, I know we went to the credit union, and the lady there said, just yesterday, I was in the same room, and it was like 20 family members because the grandfather had passed away. But he left everything to only one of his grandchildren. And she said the room was full. And I'm like, wow. And I think it was because that was the one that checked on him and saw after him and all those things. And she said everybody else just got quiet because it came to her. But that happens. People try to make sure the people that, are doing right by him, basically. And this is that. Okay, you said Kaiser has workshops that can get you your official advance directive in place. Thank you, Nanette, for that. I didn't know about that. Are they online on Nanette? I did not know that. That's good to know. Okay. And Jazzy says, she said, it's always good to have your life ready for the future because you never know when it's your time. Thank you, Jazzy. That's the truth. Like I said, we sitting here and we have not talked about it. So I already know other people haven't talked about it too. And that's because it's a hard conversation to have. And who wants to talk about death? I don't. Only those who you trust. Yep. Thank you, Jazzy. That's right. Go ahead, niece. And Nanette, you were saying? Hold on. Oh, you went in person? Okay. That's still good to know, though. You probably have to be a Kaiser member in order to go, I'm pretty sure. But you never know. But you can go online, as I don't have to tell you guys this. You can go online and go to, as they say, YouTube University and learn so much just from that. Just go there. But that's good to know, Nanette. I never knew that before. See how you can learn? I'm trying to tell you guys. It's so much information you can learn from each other. Beneficiary designations. Make sure pay on death. This is really important. Your retirement account, your life insurance, your annuities, as I said before, your bank accounts, and make sure you keep that up to date. Because what has happened, people, they list someone's name and the person dies before they do. This actually does happen. And then they forget to go back and change it. And now it's going to end up in court. Because the person, there's nobody, they meant to change it, but they didn't change it before they died. So they died, and the person that should receive the money died. So you have to really stay on top of these things. Okay. They make sure to keep it up to date and coordinated with the will or the trust. And there's a will inside of your trust. Let me say that too. The trust has a will in it. Okay. Now, this is, excuse me. You can have a letter of instruction if that's what you want. Let me tell you what a letter of instruction is. It's not a legal document, but it gives practice. Let's say it will give details to whoever is going to take care of things. For instance, location of documents, account logins, your funeral wishes, your passwords, all those things. This is what's hard. When someone passes away, literally it's almost like everything goes into chaos. In a split second, everything, you just like, it's chaotic. I just read right before I came on. Oh, hold on. Let's see. This says, I just read about everybody remember that Black Hawk helicopter that hit the plane that was landing in Washington, D.C. There were seven ladies became widows. Their husbands were on the plane. They were coming back from a hunting trip, and they all died. So overnight, one lady said when she heard that where the plane originated from, she knew her husband was on it. And she literally, it was like time stood still. She couldn't believe it. And through that, but just think about this. Whatever those men had not done before that day, you can't do it now. They were on a hunting trip. They were just coming back from having fun. And then it was that quick, they were gone. They were gone. I was flying a lot. Now I'm not as flying, thank goodness. I'm not traveling nearly as much as I have been. But you still think about you flying thousands, you're up in the air, 3 miles, I think it is, or 3 or 4, whatever it is, up in the air. The point is being you have no control over that. None. And the worst time when you fly is takeoff and land. Takeoff and landing is when the most planes crash, believe it or not. And so I'm always praying the whole time, to tell you the truth. But takeoff and landing, I know that's the most dangerous time. So I already know. And what was that plane doing? Landing. So just as you go through your day, keep in mind that we think we know something that we really don't know. Those men were they say on a guy's trip. They were just having a good time. And then on that plane on landing, crashed with I don't know how it happened. I wasn't there, but anyway. The Black Hawk in the plane, that was it. Okay, so I'm gonna go back over them again to give you a chance. Guardianship designation for anyone that has minor children. For many of you know, I was widowed at 35. I went to see the lawyer within 30 days after that. Number one, my fear was something would happen to me and my kids. There was nothing in writing who they were going to go to, and it could have been a big fight, between the families. And I said, no, I'm gonna have to go do this now, because there was no waiting. And I designated who would get the kids and how they would be taken care of and all of those things. I had to, because there was nobody else to do it. So I would tell you, especially if there's children involved, please do that. Even if it's a husband and wife. I cannot think of the minister. Him and his wife were on a plane, private plane, and the plane crashed. They both died. I can't call his name now. I can see his face, but can't remember his name. So we don't know. We don't know. So be prepared for anything. Let me say that. Just be prepared. So that's not a legal document, but it really keeps people, they know what your wishes are. And honestly, probably more than anything else in California, if you were to sign it, I can almost guarantee you, as long as they can prove that's your signature, a judge would honor it. They would honor it. Your deeds and proper titling, if you have real estate ownership, and make sure it all matches to the estate plan. If your property is in joint tenancy, if it's in a trust, all of that needs to be really listed and out. If you're a husband and wife and you're in California, then and you own property together, it automatically goes to the living spouse. Automatically. You just have to go down and do a name change. That's it. You don't have to do anything else. Your life insurance policies and policy instructions. Identify the beneficiaries and the policy locations. You definitely want to let people know where all this information is. I had this conversation. Our children wouldn't even know where to look for it, much less where it is. They wouldn't even know. They'd be like, we don't know where they keep those kind of things. And at first, I and I traveled together a lot in the last couple of years. So that's something we just need to let them know. This is where, if anything were to happen to us, this is where you're going to find the documents you need. And we really need to let our kids know, because we don't want something to happen and they'd have to tear the house apart to find out where something is, because nobody ever said anything. So that's something me and Oliver need to talk about and make sure they know. A list of your assets and liabilities. Organize inventory with account numbers, passwords, and contact information for advisors. You need to do that. Who do they contact? Who do they contact for your retirement accounts? Who do they contact for life insurance? Who's the carrier for your life insurance policies? People don't just automatically know this. They got to know where to go. Now, even with my late father's estate, going through contacting his, it's not the labor, was he with the labor board or whatever? I can't think of the name of it. The union, but union. That's what I was trying to say. With their union, you have 1 year to contact them after they pass, and after that, you can't. They claim you can't contact them again. I'm pretty sure you can, but yes. So they made it so you have 1 year. That's it. And then you can no longer get their retirements and all those kind of things. I guess they think in 1 year you should have got it together by then, but that's not always necessarily so. But that tells you have to take care of things. Somebody has to take care of things, and there may be a time limit on when it can get done. So it's a lot easier if everything is, well, this is where you're going to find everything. It makes it a lot easier to do it when it's like that. Next, funeral or disposition instructions, burial, cremation, or other preferences, prepaid details, if any. That's really necessary, ladies and gentlemen. Very necessary. Because they think about this. You paid for a funeral when you really didn't have to. It was already paid for, but you didn't know because you didn't know what the papers were. So somebody in the family, have a family meeting or have a family Zoom. As we know, Zoom now, I just love meetings on Zoom. I just love it. Because people can just Zoom in and you're still in the meeting. You can still take care of things. So, a HIPAA release, if separate in your jurisdiction, authorizes disclosure of medical information to designated persons. Those of you guys know what HIPAA is. For health reasons, they can't release your information. So if somebody needs this information, and maybe they needed to make a decision about the do not resuscitate, if you already have health issues or health conditions, or maybe they need to know, period. Because I've had people say, I'm not going to sign a do not resuscitate because I don't know their wishes. I've heard them say it. They never talked about it, so they never knew what they should do when that person, they never knew what their wishes were. That's big, because maybe their wishes were do not resuscitate, but they never talked about it. But or maybe their wishes were to resuscitate, but they still never talked about it. So they don't know what to do in that situation. So they told them, resuscitate them. I don't know. They don't even know what that means when they're saying that, by the way, and what that encompasses. So just keep that in mind. All this is serious. Oh, okay, I was seeing what you said, Jazzy. Now, your powers of attorney. Okay, let me go over them really quickly with you, and then I'm gonna have to cut our shows short because I know I have to get over to the where they're having the state of the school, the durable power of attorney, the healthcare proxy or the medical power of attorney. Advanced healthcare directive tells them what life-sustaining treatment you want. That's the DNR, the do not resuscitate. Revocable living trust. This is one of the most powerful ones you can have. It avoids probate. And I'll talk next week about the poor man's trust. I don't want to confuse you, so today I'm going to stay focused on this. A beneficiary designation. Make sure to pay on death. Now, let me say this. You do not have to have an attorney for these things. These are your retirement accounts, your life insurance, your annuities, and bank accounts. But you do need a beneficiary on every single one, because if you don't have a beneficiary, they were not going to give it to just anybody. You didn't say who you wanted to get it. So you need to specify who you want to get these things. Okay, that's really important. A letter of instruction talking about your funeral wishes, your account logins, your passwords, where the documents are. Where do you keep your legal documents? They can be, and I didn't talk about this, a safe deposit box, which is at the bank. If you have things in a safe deposit box, You could. That's something people do, and you could say, well, it's in a safe deposit box. Have it just saying that means nothing if they don't know what bank to go to, or usually it's a bank. I don't think credit unions have safe deposit boxes. I think it's only banks that have safe deposit boxes. So they need to know where is the safe deposit, in what bank, because you're gonna need authorization to get into there, and you need the key, all those things. The deeds to your property, you need that to ensure your real estate and ownership is transferred. But you need to also in order to avoid probate, it needs to be in a trust. If you don't have that property in a trust and it's in a deed and it's not in a trust, it's going to probate. And probate is not pretty. I call probate the devil, because normally you're fighting against your very own family. Your life insurance policies and the policy instructions. How much do you want people to get? Only you can do these things. No, there is nobody can do it for you. You have to do it for yourself. Your list of your assets and liabilities. Organize an inventory with account numbers, passwords, and contact information for advisors. Your funeral disposition instructions, burial or cremation or other preferences, and prepaid details, if any. If you have already paid for a plot, somebody should know where it is, because otherwise they can turn around and buy another plot not knowing you've already paid for one. So you have to really let people know what's going on. And a HIPAA release. So to get your medical information to somebody you trust also. Now, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for today. That's short, because normally I go 1 hour. But I will be doing another one next week, and we're going to talk about the Poor Man's Trust. I'm going to talk to you about what is an umbrella insurance, and I'll talk to you about the insurance that if you're a homeowner, you need to have, not just umbrella. That's just one. And it really isn't that expensive considering what they cover. They cover your home, they cover your cars, and they cover, if you have rental property, they cover that. So the umbrella insurance is just that umbrella. It gives you extra protection for all those things you may own. So ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to stop for today, but I will be back next week. You went in. I'm looking at this. Oh, thank you, Jazzy. She said to enjoy the show. Thank you, sweetheart. It's always you. I said you are my biggest fan, not just super fan, my biggest fan. So we'll be back next week with a few more things. I hope it's helping someone, because I know a lot of this I learned by trial and error. But if I can help someone not have to go through the things I went through, then I've succeeded. I can tell you that. Well, I love each and every one of you. Thank you for coming by, and I'll see you next week. Bye, everybody. And happy Easter. It's next Sunday. Bye-bye.